What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and the Rudy Farias story is already in the early stages of completely spiraling out of control. Right now, everyone is trying to figure out who is telling the truth in this situation. On one hand, we have this Quanell dude who claims that Rudy told him that his mother did all of these disgusting, ungodly things to him. And then on the other hand, we have law enforcement who claims that Rudy did not make these claims. That it's not true that Rudy said that his mother did this and that. And right now, everyone's trying to figure out who to believe. Now, in past videos, I defended Quanell. I don't know this dude Quanell, never heard of the guy. But I find it hard to believe that he would just blatantly lie about something like this, especially considering the fact that law enforcement was there. Supposedly investigators are sitting in the same room. You would have to be one bold, clout-seeking, crazy MFer to make the claims that he made and to be lying, to just walk out of there after talking to Rudy and just make up this fabricated story. I really don't think that Quanell is lying. And you know, I've defended Quanell, but it's also important to know this, that during an open investigation, you're not supposed to come out here revealing all this information. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad that Quanell did and said what he said. In fact, I'm happy that he came out and let us know how bad this situation was. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge that technically, that's not how this type of stuff is supposed to go down. You're not supposed to come out here and tell the world everything that you just heard, you know, or you're not supposed to just come out here and tell the world everything this victim said within this ongoing case and investigation. That's not how this stuff works. But Quanell is not a cop, so he doesn't have to abide by the same rules and regulations, and he doesn't have to live up to the same standards, if you will. Now, as far as law enforcement goes, I don't want to just jump out there and automatically accuse them of being involved in some sort of cover-up. I don't want to necessarily think that maybe the mother and law enforcement are intertwined in this story in some way, because it's not too far-fetched to think that, considering what we know about Rudy's father. But you see here, I think that there are various reasons as to why law enforcement might not want to tell you all about everything that they know. There are various reasons why they would get up there and not tell you the truth in a press conference. I've watched press conferences more than I would have liked to, okay? I've covered plenty of these cases, and in every single true crime case, it happens every single time. The lack of transparency from law enforcement during these little, Q&As, these little press conferences, it always leads to people spiraling out of control with theories. It leads to a lot of finger pointing, and more often than not, it leads to more questions than answers. That's why, honestly, I hate these press conferences. They get up there knowing they can't answer any of the questions that we want to know. And when they dodge certain questions, it makes people feel a certain type of way. This happens in every case. This is nothing new. All I'm saying is this. Is there a possibility that there's something shady going on with the police and Rudy's mom and all that stuff? Anything is possible. Look at this story. Anything is possible. But on the other hand, there are so many reasons that I could think of, and I've already named them in past videos, as to why law enforcement wouldn't just come out there and tell you everything. And at the same time, we've seen them blatantly lie about things before. And also, I don't know exactly how things run in Texas. And even I in many ways, when covering these type of stories, I kind of ignore certain laws. Because one thing that I've realized is that it's different strokes for different folks. You could sit here and try to play things by the book all day, every day. You could look at like, oh, well, this person violated this law. This law was broken. Well, this law says this. None of that stuff matters. I know you would like to think that it does. And in some cases it does, but it's different strokes for different folks. Every case is different. You'll see people charged with one thing, and then you could see someone do the exact same thing and not get any charges. It happens all the time. All the time. So all I'm saying here is when you look at this case, realize that. Don't try to always play it by the book. I know there are a lot of people out there that really want to stay strict and play it by the book, but it never works out because these people are going to do what they want at the end of the day. At the end of the day, that's the reality. It don't matter what the law says. It's how they choose to apply the law, and if they choose to apply the law. And sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. They do whatever the F they want, basically. So basically what I'm trying to say is that technically, when dealing with accusations like this, when dealing with potential charges like what Rudy's mother may face, when dealing with SA and, sexual things, I can't really talk on YouTube, I hate this. When dealing with these type of cases, you can't just come out here in the press conference and be like, yeah, Rudy straight up told us that he had to wash his mom's nipples and stuff in the bathroom, in the shower. I mean, sorry to get so graphic, but they can't just come out here and say that. They're not supposed to talk about those details. But then again, technically, Rudy's mother should have been arrested already because, she lied about a kid being missing. She withheld a missing person in her house for 8 years. She lied about Rudy's name multiple times. Rudy lied about his name multiple times. There's so many different things that I think they could charge her with. But, like I said, it's different strokes for different folks. That's how this works. But right now, I'm believing Quanell. And it's not necessarily because I think that the Houston Police Department is wrapped up in a big conspiracy to protect Rudy's mom, although maybe Rudy's mom has some type of damning information against some of those cops, who knows. I believe Quanell, and I believe there's possibilities here that law enforcement just can't say the things that we wish they could say. But when law enforcement got up there and denied that Rudy said any of these things that Quanell claimed, it really put Quanell in a hard spot, because now you're bringing his integrity into question. You're making him look like a liar. And at that point, I could only expect a man to defend himself because he gave his word that Rudy said these things happened. And now on a national stage, you can almost call it a international stage, the Houston Police Department made Quanell look like a big clout-chasing liar. So I don't think that Quanell would sit down. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't sit there and allow them to paint me out to be a liar. I would try to tell the truth. And apparently, that's what Quanell is trying to do. Now, some people have messaged me with details about things that Quanell has done in the past. And listen, I am focused on Rudy, making sure Rudy's safe, making sure Rudy gets justice. I'm not here to investigate Quanell. And that's one of my big issues when it comes to the true crime type of community. It's like people get off track so quickly. Before you know it, they're investigating this person and that person. They ain't even got anything to do with anything. I am not here to dig through Quanell's past. Shady past, no shady past. I don't care. I'm focused on Rudy and if what Rudy said was true. I'm not going to waste my time seeing what Quanell did 11 years ago because I don't care. But that's how the true crime community operates. It's like it will so quickly veer off the path. And it already is. Now everyone's, well, we got to investigate Quanell. Let's look into Quanell's history. Why? What does that have to do with anything? But that's how they operate. But anyways, I want to show you all this little interview that Quanell gave so he could speak for himself in this situation. Then I'll be right back with more thoughts. Hit that thumbs up button while you're at it.
First off, I guess you watched the press conference today with the Houston Police Department. What was your initial reaction when you saw it?
I believe it was a very confusing press conference. I wind up after the press conference being more confused about things involving this case. When I listened to the chief, who I do believe is a good man, who's done some good things, who's had his ups and downs, but he's a good man. I've always known him to be truthful. For him to say, as a father himself, that no sexual abuse was reported, my problem with that, Chief, is your detective sat right there with me for an hour and 15 minutes and heard every word come out of Rudy's mouth about what took place at home with his mother. He heard the young man say he was sick and tired of being treated like a slave. He was sick and tired of her crossing inappropriate boundaries.
Is that how he worded it, Rudy?
He went on to say, he said, she kept crossing boundaries that she should not cross. And it was not right. It was inappropriate. That detective sat right next to me and listened to those words. What that young man told us and described to us.
So you're doubling down with what you said yesterday.
I'm not doubling down. I'm standing straight up and standing firm, and I'm not scratching where I don't itch. But there were times he seemed mature also. There were times he seemed like he was a normal adult speaking and describing something. This BS about him being nonverbal, the man is not nonverbal. He's very articulate. So we went in and stepped out. We were standing at the door cracked. She starts badgering him about, what did you tell him? What did you tell him? If you tell him about what I did, if you tell him about the abuse, I'll kill myself. That's what she said, and several of us standing at the door heard her say it to him. We heard her tell that boy, several of us, that if he didn't change his story, she would kill herself. God is my witness, we heard her say that. Man, he's a victim. And I believe HPD with their press conference today further re-victimizes that young man. Because it's almost like they're treating him like a suspect and not a victim. You say there's no report of sexual abuse, but you won't answer the question if there was a sexual relationship. You run away from that question. I know what was said, and I'm going to tell you something now. I got proof of what was said. I'll leave it at that for now.
Did the detectives hear her say this to Rudy?
Several of us standing there, the detectives were standing there too.
Wow.
We cracked the door.
So at this point, were you thinking she's...
I'm being honest with you. There was two things I was thinking. Based on everything that, one, he was not going home or anywhere else with her. Two, they were going to call and get charges accepted. She told multiple lies. They knew she was lying.
Do you worry about Rudy's health and safety right now?
Absolutely, I do. Because I believe she's at the root of the mental problems he's having. I believe she's at the root of that young boy living in fear. She had convinced him that he had warrants out for his arrest because he ran away from home. She had convinced him to live under the assumed name because law enforcement was looking to put him in jail for running away from home. She convinced that young boy that he had warrants for his arrest, and that's how she manipulated him and exploited him and took advantage of him. And then giving him help, helping him give him the drugs, mushrooms, taking him to vape shops, getting high with him. She was getting high with him. Oh, brother, okay. I mean,
is there anything else you want to say?
that's it. But there's nowhere in the world you can tell me in your press conference, HPD, that she lied over and over again during this investigation. And those lies hindered an ongoing investigation to a missing person, created assumed names, and she's to be charged with nothing.
I just hate when stories take a turn like this one, because it really takes the focus off of what we should be focused on. Right now, the focus should, for one, be on making sure Rudy's safe. Because, in my opinion, Rudy's not safe right now. Rudy's with a family friend. Do you think I trust that family friend? And when they say family friend, a friend of Rudy, I believe it's a friend of Rudy's mother as well. So I don't trust anyone that would befriend Rudy's mother. I'm not here to tear the person down that Rudy's with. I'm just saying I'm not convinced it's a safe situation. Also, Rudy's an adult. Rudy's mom has not gotten any charges yet. So it's not illegal if Rudy decides to go leave with his mom again. It's not illegal if Rudy's mom tries to come and get Rudy. We already know she's stalking his location. Probably trying to figure out a way to weasel back in there and to get Rudy, and Lord knows what would happen from there. So I hate when we have these arguments over, is this Quanell guy telling the truth? What about the police said this? Listen. It's taking the focus off of where the focus needs to be. Now we got people, we're going to dig through Quanell's past and we're going to look through this person's past. We should be focused on Rudy and his mother. Rudy's safety and making sure his mother is held accountable. Because there's no way in hell that his mother should walk away free from this situation. Without any charges, without anything. I've looked into this woman's past, and I can guarantee you all. Take all of the crazy stuff you've heard, put all the crazy stuff that you've heard dealing with Rudy and Rudy's mother to the side. Don't even think about the allegations that Rudy has made. Even without all of that crazy stuff, I believe that if investigators and law enforcement looked into Rudy's mom, they would find several things that she's done that are illegal. I believe that she's run scams. We already brought up the fact that she had these fake businesses and stuff. This is a scamming ass lady. I can guarantee you they could find charges to bring against her that have nothing to do with Rudy, his disappearance, what she may have done to Rudy over the 8 years or anything. I can guarantee you there's other things that she's done. And that's just from me looking into her past for a couple of days. And I can tell you right now, there are things that she has done. But I don't really want to focus on her past like that. I want to focus on what she may have done to Rudy because that's what's important. But at the end of the day, if I was law enforcement or an investigator, there's just too much stuff there to ignore. But they have ignored it. So I know that people are really questioning this Quanell guy. Because maybe he's done things in the past. Maybe he's been involved in other stories. But right now, I think the safest thing that we could do is assume that the allegations are true. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you've seen the things I've seen, and I've showed you a lot, but not even the half of it, you know that this is a crazy woman. It's not hard for me to believe that these allegations are true. It's not like we're dealing with an outstanding citizen here, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with a legit psychopath that has been catfishing, doing Lord knows what for the last who knows how long. So I think the safest thing we could do is assume that the allegations are true. Assume that Quanell is telling the truth. Because I'd rather assume that and be wrong than to be on the opposite side right now. If it comes out that Quanell lied about this, I will rip him a new asshole. I will hop on him and I will cover that, and we will expose him just like we exposed Rudy's mother. No hesitancy in doing so. But as of right now, you can think what you want to think. I'm operating under the belief that these allegations are true because I've already seen enough. And I told you all from day one, before any of this crazy stuff happened, I told y'all from day one, from the first day this story took off, I told y'all that I didn't feel right about this one, that I thought something was wrong. I'm glad I followed that feeling because look at where we're at now. Nothing could have prepared us for this, but it didn't disappoint. I mean, it's disgusting, it's sick, but damn, if I was right. And I feel like I'm right about this one as well. I really find it hard to believe that Quanell would just get up there, especially considering the fact, surrounded by law enforcement, I don't think he would get up there and lie about these things. But supposedly he has evidence. There's going to be a press conference today. Go ahead and prepare yourselves. This is going to get crazy. But for right now, let me know your thoughts below. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.